Jen Higginbotham for Consumer Behavior Marketing 507 course. Assignment number 1, we're talking about a consumer experience in reference to the Validity network schema. So I'll tell you about a recent experience of mine that I've had. It took place about 48 hours ago in an airport, and I got gouged. Shocking, I know, in an airport. My daughter and I were going through security, and the unthinkable happened. She dropped her iTouch. It shattered everywhere on the floor, leaving her completely musicless and essentially crippled as far as she was concerned for the plane ride, for the duration of that plane ride. And this was about a 3-hour plane ride that I had counted on using that time to work on a project for a client. I had a deadline of 8 a.m. the next morning. So I really needed my daughter to be occupied and happy during those 3 hours. So I didn't have much of an option. We had less than an hour to board our plane. I ran out in the main corridor looking for the nearest electronic kiosk I could find. Ended up shelling about 3 times as much out for a mediocre MP3 player that I originally paid for her iTouch. So she wasn't thrilled. She got a knockoff MP3 player, and I wasn't thrilled either. My pocketbook was completely deflated, and I felt beaten. But I also knew that I had the 3 hours back of my time. So from a substantive point of view, that the convenience and the priority of getting my work done over those 3 hours took precedence and the priority over the price I was willing to pay for the iPod or the iTouch, unfortunately. From a theoretical perspective, the firm, in this case the electronic vendor of this kiosk, knows that anybody making a purchase in an airport is choosing convenience over price without question. They're offering convenience, albeit a high cost, but that's something that the consumer chooses. From a methodological perspective, we also know that I could take comfort in the fact that at least they weren't going to charge me 18 times as much for a replacement device, as government regulations would at some point cap what a vendor would be able to charge, just to prevent all-out capitalistic price gouging at some point. However, I don't know that it would ever really come to that, simply because consumers have a pretty effective method of communicating to vendors and to firms their tolerance levels of what they will and will not tolerate from a price perspective. So I don't know that it would ever come down to those government regulations, but they are there for consumer protection. So at any rate, those are those 3 components: the substantive, the theoretical, and the methodological components of the Validity network schema in terms of my recent experience in replacing my daughter's iTouch. Thank you.